Every object you can see is a ghost. It's an image of a past that no longer exists, brought to you by light that took time to travel. This suggests a fundamental disconnect between you and the universe. But the deepest law of physics we know says the exact opposite. Entanglement proves that separation is an illusion. Understanding this one principle reveals the mechanism that keeps your desired life at a distance maintained only by your observation of it. And chances are, you are reinforcing that distance every single minute of every day. Imagine you have 2 coins. They are quantum coins linked forever. You give one to a friend who travels to the edge of the known universe. You flip your coin, it lands on heads. Instantly, you know with absolute certainty that your friend's coin has landed on tails. There was no signal, no message traveled between them. The information was simultaneous. This is quantum entanglement. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance because it seemed to break the cosmic speed limit, the speed of light. He thought there must be a hidden instruction, like having 2 gloves in 2 boxes. If you open your box and find a left glove, you instantly know the other is a right glove. The information was always there, hidden inside the box. For decades, this was the most sensible explanation. The properties were predetermined. But then, an Irish physicist named John Bell devised a test, an ingenious experiment designed to check if the universe was using hidden instructions. His math predicted that if the glove explanation were true, the results of thousands of measurements would stay below a certain limit, but if the universe was truly spooky, the results would exceed that limit. When the experiments were finally run, they violated Bell's limit every single time, by a massive margin. The universe is spookier than Einstein could accept. What this proved shattered our entire understanding of reality. The glove in a box idea was wrong. The properties of the particles are genuinely undecided until the moment of measurement. The particle isn't secretly spin up or spin down. It exists in a blurry cloud of all possibilities at once, a state we call superposition. The act of looking, of measuring, forces the universe to make a choice. It snaps from a wave of potential into a single concrete fact, and its entangled twin, even if it's in another galaxy, instantly snaps into the opposite state. This isn't communication, it's something much deeper. The 2 particles are behaving as a single unified system that just happens to exist in 2 different places. They share one identity. The space between them is irrelevant. The separation we see is a fiction. This is where the idea moves from the laboratory to your life. If physical separation can be an illusion for 2 particles, what does that say about the perceived separation between you and a reality you desire? The space between the person you are and the person you want to be. The distance between your current bank account and financial freedom. At the quantum level, the universe has shown us that connection across distance is not the exception, it's a fundamental rule. The particles are not sending signals, they are one. This has led some thinkers to ask a profound question. What if the state of your life is also a quantum system? A wave of infinite possibilities, existing in superposition, health and sickness, wealth and poverty, happiness and despair, all potentials, waiting for a measurement. This brings us to the most mysterious part of quantum mechanics, the observer effect. The fact that reality seems to wait for us to look before it solidifies. An unobserved quantum system behaves like a wave of pure potential. The act of observation collapses the wave into a particle, a specific outcome, a single experience. Think about that. The universe in its most fundamental state seems to be a field of probabilities, an ocean of maybes, and the act of conscious observation is the pin that pops all the other bubbles, leaving only one. So if your potential future also exists as a wave of possibilities, what is the ultimate measuring device that collapses it into the life you actually experience? What is the engine of observation? Your attention, your belief, your sustained assumption. The world you experience is the world you are continuously measuring into existence with your focus. You look at your bank account and see a low number, you feel the reality of that lack. You have just performed a measurement. You have collapsed the wave function into scarcity. You are observing the absence of what you want, and the universe, which must conform to observation, dutifully provides more absence. It has to. It's a law. You are telling your entangled system, your consciousness, and the quantum field what state to be in. You are the observer, and your deeply held beliefs are the measurement that turns possibility into fact. This is the mechanism. The gap between you and your desire is an energy state maintained by constant observation. You might think your beliefs are just thoughts. They are commands. Every time you say, "I can't afford that," you are performing a quantum measurement. You are instructing the field of potential to collapse into a reality where that statement is true. Every time you think, "I'm just not a lucky person," you are collapsing the probability wave into a timeline where you consistently miss opportunities. Your inner world and your outer world are entangled. They are a single system. What you hold as true in your consciousness must be reflected in your physical reality. They are the two coins. One cannot be heads, while the other is also heads. They are linked. The system must be coherent. The illusion is that they are separate things, that your inner state is here and your outer reality is over there. The physicist Max Planck, the father of quantum theory, put it this way: "I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness." This is a radical statement. He is saying that the world you see is a downstream effect of the observing mind. You are not a camera passively recording a pre-existing movie. You are the projector, and your beliefs are the film running through it. Change the film, and the projection on the screen of reality must change. It has no choice. The universe does not give you what you want. It gives you what you are, what you believe yourself to be. This is why just wanting something is often useless. Wanting is an act of observing lack. It is a measurement that reinforces the absence of the very thing you desire. It screams to the universe, "I do not have this," and the universe responds, "Okay, confirmed, you do not have this." So how do you change the measurement? You change the observer. You begin to consciously and deliberately observe the reality you prefer, even before it has solidified. You feel the feeling of your goal as if it were already a physical fact. This is the act of collapsing a different probability. You are applying focused, coherent consciousness to a specific potential within the quantum field. You stop measuring the reality of what is and start measuring the reality of what could be, treating it as if it already is. You are ignoring the evidence of your senses to impose a new belief. This is the work. It requires assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You are not pretending. You are selecting. You are using your consciousness as a tuning fork, and when you hold a specific vibration of belief and feeling, the quantum field begins to resonate with it, organizing reality to match that frequency. Critics will say, "This is just positive thinking." But the physics points to something more mechanical. Positive thinking is often an effort to argue with a reality you already believe is solid. This is about understanding that reality is never solid until you observe it to be. The separation between you and your ideal state of being is a construct, a gap held in place by the energy of your own belief. You are entangled with all possibilities. When you change your dominant measurement, your core assumption about yourself and the world, you are not fighting reality. You are choosing a different one from the infinite menu of superposition. The change in your life does not come when the outside world finally shifts. The outside world shifts when your inner measurement becomes unshakable. Think about a time you learned a new skill. At first, it felt impossible. Your hands were clumsy, your mind was slow. You were measuring the state of, "I can't do this." Then, through practice, your belief started to shift. You had small successes. You began to see yourself as someone who could do it. Slowly, your dominant observation changed from incompetent to competent. The physical actions became smoother, more automatic. Your outer reality simply conformed to your new inner measurement. You collapsed a different state of being. You did not add a skill to yourself. You selected a version of yourself that already possessed the skill from the field of potential. The person you are right now is simply the sum total of the possibilities you have consistently measured into being. This principle is active in your life right now. The relationships you have, the health of your body, the work you do, they are all reflections of your sustained beliefs. They are echoes of your past measurements. This is why change can feel so hard. You are trying to select a new reality while standing in a room filled with the furniture of your old beliefs. The key is to withdraw your attention from the unwanted furniture. Stop measuring it. Stop giving it the energy of your focus. It only remains solid because you keep looking at it. Turn your inner gaze toward the reality you intend to create. Feel it. Inhabit it in your imagination. This is the quantum level work that precedes all physical level manifestation. It's the cause. The physical world is the effect. The universe isn't personal, it's impartial. It's a mirror. It reflects the observer's face without judgment. If you look into the mirror with a frown, it doesn't smile back to cheer you up. It shows you your frown. To see a smile, you must smile first. The change has to originate with the observer. You cannot wait for the world to give you permission to feel wealthy, healthy, or loved. You must adopt the feeling, the belief, the measurement of that state first. You collapse that reality internally, and then the mirror of the physical world rearranges itself to match the new reflection. The space between you and everything you desire is not a void to be crossed. It's a canvas filled with every possibility, and your belief is the brush that makes one of them visible. The separation is an artifact of measurement. Change the measurement, and the illusion of separation dissolves. The two coins were always one, and so are you and the life you are waiting to live.